Exclusive. Lawyer confirms Parliament is wrong on the $10,000 cash ban.
Today we're going to reveal to the audience some exclusive information about this cash transaction ban bill. So we covered the inquiry report in quite detail in terms of our last show, and there has been some media reporting with Alan Jones picking up the story on 2GB and Sky as of yesterday, and today is Wednesday. Now, one of the key issues that we raised in last episode was this issue of, can this bill trap people in banks? So I testified on the 30th of January, and I gave a scenario of how this bill could be actually used to trap people in banks. Now, the committee, in their report, in their inquiry report, said that this evidence was wrong. Now, in our last show, I said that the committee was wrong. In that time, since our last show, I went to a lawyer and had independent legal opinion drawn up on this particular point. And so today's show is to reveal this legal opinion. And the legal opinion basically says that I was right in what I testified to the committee on the 30th of January. We were right in terms of what we said in our last show. Parliament is wrong. The committee is wrong.
And this is very significant, right? Because essentially any bill has to be based on good law,
yes.
Right? And what this is saying is that the law is actually being misinterpreted by the writers of the bill.
What I said was that, so we have the bill, as in what's before Parliament, and we have the rules, which is the regulations. The bill itself makes all transactions at $10,000 or above illegal right across Australia. There's the rules, which is the regulations, which says there's a set of exemptions that under these conditions you're allowed to conduct transactions. Now, one of the exemptions is in relation to banks, in terms of, and this is this Section 8 of the rules. Now, what I testified on the 30th of January and said was that if you bring in the bill, if Parliament passes the bill and you make these regulations law, and then at some future point the Assistant Treasurer was to remove this exemption on the banks, at that point it is illegal to deposit or withdraw $10,000 from any financial institution. I was quite specific about how this law could actually trap people in banks. Now, why is this important is that, you know, a lot of what we are assuming and commentating on is not to consider this law in the current environment. What happens when we have a financial crisis, and what tools does the government have to actually protect the banking system, and what does that mean for our rights and our ability to escape the banking system and protect our wealth? Now, it's interesting that we, in the last 24 hours, we've had a bit of a chuckle off camera about this run on toilet paper, and so right across the country, people have been rushing to buy toilet paper because of fears of the coronavirus. Now, this morning, Woolworths, and let's actually put this article up from the Guardian on the screen. Woolworths this morning made the decision that they will limit the amount of toilet paper every customer can buy because there's effectively a run on toilet paper. So now, yes, that's not the banks, but we have seen Northern Rock. We've seen other examples where when people get nervous about banks, they have a run, and there's an incentive for governments and the banks to limit the amount of money leaving the system. That's what we call capital controls. Woolworths, in effect, have I think the Guardian called it rationing. You could call it rationing. You can call it a capital control on toilet paper. But what we're talking about in essence is this law, if passed, gives government a new tool to trap us in the banking system in a financial crisis by removing this Section 8 of the rules whenever they so desire.
Right, just to be clear, the regulation is held outside the bill. The bill refers to it. The regulation doesn't require parliamentary approval to change. So basically the Treasury can just, in an instant, change that particular regulation, and suddenly we are not allowed to take more than $10,000 out of the bank.
what I'm intending to do with this is actually to submit it to the Senate Economics Committee and basically ask them to either change or amend this paragraph 2.7 because it is factually wrong. And so there is some media outlets who I'm potentially going to share this legal advice with. But for the ordinary Aussie who's thinking about, well, what does this law mean for me? It means that the government has the ability to trap you in the banks, and we have an independent lawyer who basically confirms that point.
Yeah, and it's in the interest of the people, which is precisely what this channel's about.
Absolutely.
John, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.